What was the tipping point?
We're not able to cook for ourselves. The house isn't nice and tidy the way we might like it.
The way that we feel about our home, we trickle it into the business.
We did the math and we realized that would probably be pretty great if it was real and we can actually find somebody.
The societal norm says the wife should be the one cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids. The straw that broke the camel's back. After day 2, oh my gosh, this is what our lives could be like. So we're here for another episode of Scaling Together, and we are talking today about an issue that we've had in our own lives as business owners and a father and a mother to 3 boys at home who are 11, 8, and 3, and trying to make it all work with being healthy and eating right and struggling to work out. Because we know fitness is a big deal when it comes to running a business because it all falls on our shoulders as the owners. And our team looks to us, our members and our clients look to us. And so we need to make sure that everything is in order for us personally. And the home front is where it starts. And the way that we feel about our home, we trickle it into the business. So today, we're going to talk about how we overcame that challenge in our own personal lives. And it all started with hiring a house manager. That has been super key. It's part of Dan Martell's book, actually, Buy Back Your Time, which has been such a big game changer for us in our home, in our business, in our personal day-to-day, how we look at our lives. So the first question, Josh, is what was the tipping point that made you realize that we needed a house manager?
I mean, like, as you grow and scale your business, right, and you're creating, additional revenue, ideally additional profitability, you always think about scale, right? Okay, all right, well, now I'm too busy. I need to hire an account manager. Okay, now we're too busy. We need more operations team, right? And you're always thinking about creating capacity within the business. Well, you also want to think about your personal capacity, right? Because if you're thriving in business, but then you come home and you've got to fold and do the laundry and you've got to take out the trash and you've got to clean the house and you got to pick up after the kids and you don't have any time to really be present with your family, which is probably, one of the reasons you created the business, right? To create the income, to be able to spend time, to take travels and do fun things. In the book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, he really explains this concept beautifully. And that, look at the low dollar task that's taking up your time. And, Yesenia and I, running 2 multiple 7-figure businesses, now over 8 figures combined, realized, oh man, we're not able to cook for ourselves every day just because we don't have the bandwidth. The house isn't really nice and tidy the way we might like it. And while we could do that ourselves, why not hire somebody that could come in full time, be at the house, make sure the diet is managed, we get the right food, the house is taken care of. And I think that was the tipping point where we did the math and we realized, wow, that would probably be pretty great if it was real and we can actually find somebody to do that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about, getting down and if there's toys or if even ourselves, we leave messes, where things are out and I'm constantly picking up and making our bed. One of those big things that people say is make your bed in the morning to achieve success. And what I say to that is it's even better when someone else makes it for you. It's wonderful to be able to hand off little things like doing the laundry, folding and putting away the clothes. And we do it to a certain extent, but hiring somebody else that does it and making our closet look like a department store that we just walked into and always having our clothes cleaned and pressed so that we just grab it in the morning has been such a big pivotal point for us because yes, we can do it ourselves. However, we would be sacrificing the time with each other in the evenings. So we have limited time, right? That's the one thing you can't get back. You can make more money, right? But you can't get back time. And so, especially when the kids are so little, that's really has been the driving force for us to get this house manager. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Was, yeah, we have all this stuff that we do, but having time to sit with them while they're little and play with them one-on-one and not being completely exhausted, and it being like 10 o'clock at night and okay, you're sort of like little 15, 20 minute window to just pour ourselves and sit and have that one-on-one concentrated effort. Like they're tired already, you're tired already. So just the value that we get out of spending time with them and being able to go on dates. And the mental clarity of like not trying to do it all. We were not meant to do it all as business. Like if we're business owners, we have a certain level of financial means. And so we need to do that just like we hire team members in our team because we can't fulfill for every last person. We need a crew. And so same thing in our lives. Like we just need a crew to make it work so that we're happy and we're able to take those 10-day vacations, like the one that's coming up soon for us and the RV trip and taking the kids to the national parks. We wouldn't have been able to do that before if we hadn't hired a house manager to help us. So
yeah, I just want to add, you said your most valuable asset is what? It's your time, right? It's the one thing that's never coming back. And there's opportunity cost, right? Like some people think about this idea and it's like, oh, I should be doing that. Like that's my responsibility to clean my own house and to take care of my own stuff. But there is an opportunity cost, right? And if we didn't have a house manager, then we would finish up work 5:30 or 6 or whenever we're done. You'd spend an hour, I'd spend an hour cooking the food. We'd spend another 30 minutes cleaning it up, putting it away. Then, literally 2 or 3 hours of the night would be sucked away.
Yeah.
Instead of opportunity cost, where else could that time be spent?
Right.
That's what time we can spend together. That's time we can spend with our kids. And so not everyone can, has the financial means to do it, right? But if we run businesses and we truly believe that our time is our most valuable asset, and, could you put that money into a bank account and earn a return? Absolutely. Are there tax benefits to hiring somebody and not, that's a whole separate conversation. But the reality is we want to invest to get a return on investment. And so for us, the most valuable return is that time that we get to spend with our kids. Like you said, they're never going to be these ages again. They're only getting older.
Right. And not just the financials. Like if somebody's able to do it financially, but there's other factors too that'll keep somebody from hiring a house manager. For others, it could be shame, feeling the societal norm says that the wife should be the one cooking and cleaning and taking care of the kids. And so other people might have an influence of like, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a sister or a brother or like your parents have a big influence in that, how we were raised. In my house, like my mom is open to this, but she was raised as well in a house where she was looked to see as the motherly role. And if she were to hand that off, that's being lazy. That's your role. What do you mean you're going to hand off? You're going to have somebody else raise your kids is always the line, right? And so just being comfortable with yourself and confident enough to say, yes, that's the societal norm and people are going to think that on the outside. Maybe even close family is going to think that about me. But making the internal decision of, is this, going back to time, is this how I want my life to be lived here on earth? Like we have a responsibility to ourselves, to our spouse, to find time to spend to date with them, and then our kids as well to spend time with them. So these outside influences, whether it's a family member or it's a friend, at the end of the day are outside. They're outside of your family. They're not the ones that are there living your life. So don't be stressed and hold back because this is what you want to do with your life. And so I did struggle with that concept, that feeling, because I did get raised as well of like you should be cleaning the house and doing it well. You should be cooking and being really good at cooking. But at the end of the day, like I don't enjoy cooking and I'm not a whole lot great at cooking because I don't want to spend time doing it and getting better at it. So it's not something that I aspire to do. So because of that, I just had to change and make that decision of like, I'm not going to let that influence me. And it just is what it is. And they're going to think that, and I'm going to do it anyway. So that was that aspect. Another holdback, though, that even making that decision, the next hurdle to have to overcome, aside from the financials, aside from like the outside influence, is the fact that it was uncomfortable. The thought of having somebody in our house all day, every day, as we're trying to live with the kids and with each other. What does that look like? The bigger piece is like someone touching our dirty underwear. Like, you know what I mean? Just getting into the nitty gritty of it. And so that was the part that kind of also made me like hold off for a bit until finally, again, going back to the straw that broke the camel's back, was just realizing I'm finishing the day. You're finishing the day along with me. And the kids were done earlier than us. And I could take that time to cook and clean, do laundry, or have that be with somebody else and instead spend the time with the kids. And so that was the final straw that said, you know what? I want to spend time with our kids more than the feeling of the uncomfortableness of having somebody in our home. And so we did. We tiptoed and we tried it out for we looked at care.com and had some options. We had 3 people that came, and we tried out all 3 of them, and just booked one right after the other one, and decided on one of them, and offered up like 3 to 4 hours for 5 days a week. And after day 2, quickly realized, oh my gosh, this is what our lives could be like. And quickly changed that to 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday. And so it has been absolutely wonderful. Have not looked back since. It's been fantastic. Just having the right person as well has been great, where she's just fitting in with our family so well.
Yeah, I think on the other side of the issues of like, oh, wow, like, is this selfish of me to do this type of thing? Shouldn't I be doing that? Is you actually create opportunities for people that need opportunities. Like, think about, if you're still cutting your own lawn, if you're still doing your own, landscaping, if you're still cleaning your house, and you could afford to do have someone else do that, there are people that need those opportunities, that need that income. And so, you're also helping somebody else earn their living while creating a lot of freedom for yourself.
100%. Okay, so what did home life look like before you had a house manager? How did it affect us personally and professionally? Like, what was the before and what was the after?
And this was never like a hard, like, this happened and all of it was taken care of, right? We took care of little things over time, but it used to be, because we didn't have someone there to order the groceries and, cook the food for us. We were just ordering Uber Eats, right? It was like, you know what? I need dinner. You need lunch.
5 times a day.
Right. Which is a waste of money, but it's also really bad food. By contrast to having a set diet where you're eating whole foods, you're eating on a diet, a macro-based diet, having a house manager that could set that up and prepare it. So, because we're working, right? When we're working, we're not thinking about our food. So that was a big piece. I'll let you say the next one, but that was probably the first big, home life issue.
Well, for the fitness aspect of it, you have always been very disciplined with pushing yourself for working out. For me, I need that extra, push and guidance of like, here's a studio where I can go and do Pilates with someone else. And I just like that one-on-one time of being close and talking, and while I'm doing my workout and just being away from the house. So for me, what it looked like was not working out consistently. I was barely working out. It was sad. And the health combination together, where I was Uber eating and being exhausted at the end of the day, and looking at a pile of dishes and a pile of clothes on that's so frustrating. And wanting to spend time with the kids and being like, sorry, honey, I can't. And just tearing myself inside internally, feeling like, man, I should be able to play with you. I'm sorry. And like feeling guilty, that whole mom guilt, of not being able to spend time with them, but also wanting to spend time with them because they're little for such a short window. So that was what it looked like for me, was just guilt, frustration, not sleeping well because I wasn't working out and not eating right, staying up late at night because of it. And so that was such a huge change when we did finally hire the house manager. She just opened up so many opportunities for us that we didn't have before.
And there's the switching cost, right? Just the mental energy of, okay, I got to work on this for a little bit, putting away the dishes, folding the laundry, versus being able to be present with your kids and being able to do that type of stuff. I highly recommend it, right? If you can afford it, even part-time, as your business grows and scales, it creates freedom that you wouldn't have thought that you needed or wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but I was thinking along the lines of, I just want a house manager so I can work out consistently. And I was like, 3 days a week. And then I fell into Dan Martell's program because I knew I wanted to really push myself and I really wanted to get it to 5. And the trainers were like, well, you could do 3. Like, you don't really need to go 5. But then Dan Martell's fitness program, which was also equally great, sweat every day. And that was such a game changer as well. And the only way that worked for our family was the fact that we did have a house manager to cook our foods and to be able to do the workouts and all that stuff consistently. So absolutely. So how has hiring a house manager improved our productivity in business specifically?
I mean, I think in a lot of different ways, because when you eat right and you exercise, your energy is different. You're more productive. I think that in and of itself has impacted the business. I also think, having to stop and think, well, what am I going to eat for lunch today? Or having to stop and think, well, do we need to throw the clothes into the wash machine and do we need to take them out? Like, just being able to focus undivided on the business, pays dividends.
Yeah. For me, because I was the one that was part-time here and there for some in the beginning of 7-figure agency, because I was with the kids and when they would come home from school and stuff like that, having the house manager allowed me to be able to not have to be worried that somebody's going to come in to a meeting that I'm on Zoom because she's holding down the fort along with my mom as well. We have like a team, that we take care of. I mean, we've now hired 2 teachers for homeschooling and we have a coach for the kids. I mean, we have created for ourselves a team at home as well. But having the house manager be able to have a handle on whether or not where the kids are and getting them their snacks and being that person to take care of them while I'm on calls and have meetings, that's what makes it work. And I'm 100% confident that I'm focused on what I'm focused on and be able to do it without all of the distractions.
Yeah. Love that.
So what's the biggest unexpected benefit you've experienced since making this decision? What's the biggest unexpected benefit, would you say?
I'll let you go first.
I think it's our date nights too has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we get to go out and have a nice lunch by the water at one of our favorite restaurants by the celebrity chef. I mean, that's like so luxury that we normally wouldn't have gotten to get to do during the weekday. Because on the weekends, that's our time with our family too. And so that's been a really nice time for us to be able to have together, because we were doing it collectively, right, for the kids, and also to be able to focus 100% on business without the distractions. And so I'd say that would be the biggest.
I agree. Yeah, I think for sure that's a great benefit.
What tasks does our house manager handle that have made the biggest difference in our lives? Like, what would you say is like the number one, like, because of this, I would so recommend a 10 out of 10 to anybody else.
Yeah. I think practically speaking, it's just like any other role, right? Just like any other role you hire for. If you're not clear, like, here's what I need you to do, right? Here's the expectations of how it should be done. It's probably not going to get done right? So having the house manager playbook that Dan Martell provides, and if you want, we've got an updated version that we can share with you as well, makes a big difference. And I would say just having the consistency of house is cleaned, toys are picked up, food is ordered, food is available, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, consistency of eating the right macros and having everything weighed correctly. Man, it's just so many benefits.
That is really the key, Josh, because we had a house manager prior to this before years ago, and it failed.
Well, it wasn't a housemate; it was a housekeeper, right?
It was just a housekeeper. Yeah, we weren't looking at it for all the ways that our house manager today helps us. It was just like, oh, we just need somebody to, fold our laundry and do our dishes. That's all. That's all we need. Nothing else. And we didn't have the playbook, so it was total miscommunication, lost in translation. Like, it failed. It didn't work because of that. And I take full responsibility and ownership of the fact that it didn't work out. It didn't have to do with this person. It's just we didn't communicate effectively on the front end. Right. And so getting this opportunity now, that's on reflection, looking back, right? We thought we had the wrong person, wrong seat, but really it's just we didn't communicate effectively enough. And so now that we have this whole, what is it, like a 15-page document or something on so many details. I mean, they changed the battery in our remotes. They change out the toilet paper. They take our Amazon packages and break them open and take them to our trash can outside and order our groceries. And when the groceries come in, they take them out of the bags, they put them in the fridge, they check to see what's been expired, they redo our medicine cabinet, no expired medicine. It's so many little details that go into it. It's not just the laundry, right? It's not just the dishes. There's so many other details that pull on our mental capacity and kind of stress us out a little bit. Like anytime we think we're going to use a remote, it's like, oh, the battery's out. Oh, we're going to go use the toilet paper. It's like the toilet paper roll is empty. Like no one refilled it, right?
Oh, there's 6 boxes from Amazon.
Yeah, all these like little fights that we really avoid having between the two of us because she's just on top of it and does a phenomenal job doing it. And it has to do with that communication on the front end and the expectations being discussed. That has been.
Yeah. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, right? And if you're intentional on the front end and you know exactly what you'd like to have them do, and then you've got the right person, right? Obviously, you could have the exact playbook and get the wrong person, right? You got to make sure you get the right kind of person that has the right character traits that's willing to do this type of work. And then number 3 is you have to be willing to communicate, right? Yes. Because you might not like the way they put something away. You might not like the way that they folded the socks, right? Just like any other role, if you hold that to yourself, you're frustrated, you start to get annoyed, and eventually like, I don't even want to deal with this person anymore, and you fire them. That's on you, right? Like you need to be willing to say, hey, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing here, but I don't like the way you did X. Can you do it this way going forward? And usually with that feedback and with that coaching, they become the perfect person to meet your needs. So if we could go back, would we have hired a house manager sooner? I'm for me personally, yes, absolutely, right? Because again, your most valuable asset is your time. Assuming you figure out what your buyback rate is, figure out what's financially conceivable for you. It's not in everybody's financial, best interest, right? You got to know how much money is coming in and how much you can afford to invest. But assuming it makes financial sense, the sooner you get that off your plate, the better. Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that. What's the best advice for entrepreneur couples who feel overwhelmed trying to manage both business and home? You want to speak first on that? Is communication. 100%. If there's any kind of a stress between the two of you at home, it's just having the time to air it out and discuss what it is and not having it pent up inside. We just talk about there's so many ways to pent up, guys. Working with people. You can pent up emotions, how you feel about a team member if you're like stressed because they're like, you feel like they're not delivering and you're not communicating. Or your spouse too. You could be frustrated. Or your spouse or the house manager. Like there's so many ways we can drop the ball with people, but like at the core, the main takeaway is communication. And so when we had all these frustrations, the number one thing that we do is we go to each other and we say, look, I'm going through this. Like, what do you think? I'm thinking about getting a house manager. What do you think?
and having those conversations and looking at our finances and can we support that? And how does that look like for our kids? And we're going to be introducing somebody new into the home. And how is that going to look, day to day? So communication is key.
Yeah. I think awareness precedes change, right? So you have to, if there's something in your life that's bothering you, that's frustrating you, you have to be calm for a little bit. You've got to reflect on it. You've got to become aware. What is it? What's stressing me out? I think being around people that live the kind of life that you want to live, having people that are living a great life, that have a great, marital relationship, great family relationship, run great businesses, and just being inquisitive, like what are they doing differently in their life in terms of how they handle their finances and the way that they operate, can expose you, because awareness precedes change. Like if you didn't realize that was a possibility for you, you wouldn't make that change. So I think becoming aware, making a list of like where your time's going, where your energy is being sucked, and then be willing to test things out and try things out and, see how it goes.
100%. This has been such a great conversation. Where can other agency owners who are running the business, husband and wife team, like you and I, go to learn more about how we handle our day-to-day?
So, if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe. Leave a review, because that will help us get awareness for this particular content. If you want more ideas and strategies on how to grow your agency specifically, you can go to sevenfigureagency.com. We've got 2 books, the 7-Figure Agency Roadmap, which is how to grow and scale your agency, the Client Retention Handbook, which is how to really create great client relationships and retain your clients at the highest level possible. And we've got a great coaching and mentorship program where we share not just how to grow your agency, but how to kind of live the life you want to live. So 7figureagency.com would be the place to go for that.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks for watching.